Hey everybody, it's Zach the welder here, and in this video I'm going to show you how you weld this 8-inch sanitary tubing behind me here. And the twist, we're going to go ahead and use my Lincoln 300, and I'll show you how you set that up off an engine drive. First thing we're going to do, I got a grinder with a 40 grit flap wheel in it. This has a bit of a sharp edge on it from when I used a circular saw to cut this. So that kind of affects my rigid pipe beveler, so we're going to go ahead and just knock that off real quick here. And okay. Now it doesn't take much, probably yelling because I got earplugs in here. It doesn't take much to knock that off there, but that rigid pipe beveler clamps on there, and if there's any funkiness on the edge there, it won't want to make a nice bevel. If you've never seen one of these before, this is a pipe beveler that Rigid makes. These things are super handy for beveling pipe, and they do a really nice job. And basically what they do is your pipe goes in here where my finger is. This cam up here squeezes together and grabs onto your pipe. You've got some rollers here, and you got another roller down there where it keeps it in place, and you got a cutter head in here in the middle that spins, and it's got carbide teeth on it where it just machines a bevel on your pipe. It does a really nice job. No grinding required. You might have to come back with a flap wheel and just lightly touch up, you know, any burrs or anything like that just for TIG welding, but it does a really nice job, and it's really fast. On this 8-inch, it takes less than a minute to make a full rotation on that, where I don't know how long that would take with a flap wheel, but it would not be a fun one to go ahead and knock a bevel on. So we're going to go ahead and machine a bevel on this guy and get our ferrule on there. And it is that fast. Now all I gotta do is unloosen. All I gotta do is loosen that and slip it off the pipe, and we're all good.
These are the parts I made in last week's video, so if you want to see how I put those together, check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and use my SAE 300 today for no particular reason other than I feel like running it. So we're gonna go ahead and flick it on here. And then I think I'll set it about 120 on the current dial here, which would be about like being in second gear on an SA 200. So when you are TIG welding off on one of these, the lower you can be on your voltage here, the less likely it's going to be to arc to different spots when you whip out. So there's a lot of times where I'll be all the way down at 0 or, you know, like 1 or 10 on my ditch box there. If I'm TIG welding, I just want it to be as low a voltage as possible. So I think 120 will probably work for what we're doing today. We'll probably be around 75 amps for our root, and then for our you know, fill pass there, will probably be 100 amps, somewhere around in there. You could probably go to as low as 75. You could probably go as high as 110 if you're really quick, but we'll probably be kind of, you know, 80 to 100 amps somewhere in there. So we'll go ahead and fire this guy up here. I really like this one. This is the 3-cylinder Perkins turbo diesel, and we'll let you hear that. And there's my cat up there. I didn't see that. Good thing the cat is not happy with me. All right, we're gonna go ahead and tack this ferrule on here. I've got about 50 CFH of argon going through my purge cap here. I have a piece of 16th filler here just in case I need to you know, dab a little bit here. I don't know if I will or not, but it's always nice to have it handy. Plus, if you are running a older engine drive like that that does not have lift arc, what is really nice is to be able to use your piece of filler there to kind of flick the arc on. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but you basically just hold your tungsten close to your workpiece, and then you just kind of flick your filler in between the tungsten and the workpiece, and it just lights it up there very nice and easily. So we'll go ahead and do that here and see if we can get our first tack on there. Whoa. And my battery in my hood must not be oh, I'm blind. Battery in my hood must be dead. That was yeah, that is the one downside to auto darkening lenses. I'm gonna go change that out real quick. Seeing all kinds of spots here. It's a good lesson for any of y'all out there that are in welding school. If you have one of these great little battery powered inserts for your 2x4 hood, if you leave it in the front seat of your truck over the weekend, if you leave it down, it won't run your batteries down. If you leave it up like this, the sunlight, it will be enough to trigger the sensor and it'll run the batteries down. I have done that more than once, and I'm sure I will do it again, but just a little tip for y'all there that yeah, that'll run the batteries down. So let's go ahead and try to do this again here without blinding myself. Right there, let's go ahead and get a tack on that. A nice little ticky tack. We'll go to the other side here and make sure it hasn't pulled. That is one nice thing about this kind of clamp, is it will hold it. It'll hold the ferrule in place here while you get it tacked without really moving, unless you really get a monster tack on there. And I'm just flicking that piece of filler in there. And like I said out there with the engine drive, if you're using a Lincoln like that where you have your current range and you have your voltage range, the higher you are in your voltage range, when you go to whip out like that, it will want to arc to whatever is around it. So if you go all the way down, like right now I am at 10, or the very bottom of my ditch box there, it won't arc to everything. But if you go to different spots, or if you go really high on your voltage there, it'll just go to, you know, kind of whatever as you whip out. So you make your life a lot easier and just go higher current, lower voltage. So we'll go ahead and get a couple more clamps on. Boy, these guys do not want to stay on there today. And we'll go ahead and rotate this way just a smidge. Honestly, baby, this just has never happened to me before. They just do not want to stay on there. Okay, we'll get a tack on the bottom here. Then we'll go ahead and put some masking tape on the joint there, and we'll start going ahead and welding this guy out. I don't want to put prior to go ahead and, or when we go ahead and put our root pass in on this, we're gonna go ahead and wrap that in masking tape to seal it up. I don't wanna put a whole lot of tacks on that or a whole lot of heat into that until we actually get that done. So we'll go ahead, pop this guy off here. And I do not understand why those clamps do not want to stay on there. I have used those a bunch and not had any issues. So we'll just go ahead and run around here and put a whole bunch of little tacks just so we don't have any movement when we go to weld this guy on here. I'm putting a tack about every, I don't know, probably 3 inches or so, something like that. Trying not to really put a whole lot of heat into this and burn all the way through, just so I don't really take a chance on getting any sugaring inside the pipe here. Okay, just a real quick get a little bit of filler in there. Now I'm using, I think this is 316 filler. 308 would be your ideal one since this is 304. I just happen to have a bunch of 308 rod left over from another job that I was doing. So we're using 308 today, but this is nothing that is structural. This is just gonna have vacuum running through it. So that looks pretty good right there. We'll go ahead and use a wire wheel and just wire wheel off our tacks there. And we'll go ahead and put a piece of masking tape around there to seal it up. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and wrap this with a little bit of masking tape here. You don't have to go all the way around, but what we wanna do is we wanna seal this guy pretty good so we can go ahead and wash our root in. And of course I managed to fold this back on itself. We'll go to, say, probably there, because that's kind of where I tore the tape right there. So that gives us about 6 inches. We're nice and flush against that, where, you know, you could probably get away with not doing that as much argon as I have flowing in here, but it's not really worth taking a chance on. So we'll go ahead and let that purge for another minute. So we'll go ahead, we'll start here and move to there. Here's the hole drilled in there. If you don't have an outlet hole on that, you run the risk of having a blowout. It will definitely happen if you have too much gas going in there. I mean, it'll just, you know, make a big bloop, and yeah, then you got to fix that. So I have a 1/8 hole here drilled in this plate, and I can feel a good amount of gas flow coming out of there, so I know I have a good seal here and here. So we'll go ahead, let that purge for another minute, and we'll go ahead and get our root pass in. All right, so we'll go ahead and start our root here. Now again, we have one side of this beveled and one side is not, so you kind of have to favor the side that is not beveled, just to get a little bit more heat. Plus this ferrule, since it's a little thicker than the pipe itself, it'll pull heat in, so we got to favor that. You can just kind of watch as you go along here. So I've got my filler here kind of just in case. So we're just kind of washing it in here. I'm a little hot. Actually, I may turn the welder down just a smidge. 75 amps seems to be pretty good for this. I'm a little hot. I'm guessing I'm maybe closer to 100. I'd rather go slow, and since stainless is just such a sluggish thing to weld, I would rather go a little slower or lower on my amperage and just let this cook, because I want to try to penetrate all the way through. And I have my rod there just kind of standing by should I need to add any filler, kind of depending on what's going on. But I have a pretty consistent gap all the way around to this, as far as like not really having much, or just maybe, you know, 10,000ths or something like that. So I don't really need it, but I have it there should I need it. There's my tape smoking. All right, now I hold the torch on there just to keep shielding gas on that. That looks pretty good. I would rather it be a little cooler, so we'll go ahead and turn the welder down here. I think I'm set at, I think I was at 120 out there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and set the current dial down to maybe 105 or just a... All right, we're just gonna go ahead and finish this root pass out here. I tried walking the cup on it there. I feel like freehanding it, at least with this setup, gives you a little bit better control over kind of your speed. So we're gonna continue freehanding it. Now again, your mileage may vary. I'm sure some people that walking the cup may work better for you, but for me, freehanding it is. So like that, I'm just using that to kind of flick my arc on there. Starting off there, the ferrule's cool, so it just takes a minute to put some heat into. So we're just kind of wandering around here. I'm favoring the side with the ferrule, like I said earlier, just so I can make sure I get a good amount of heat in it and break that wall down. Since this is an end piece, it really doesn't matter because I can just go ahead and go in and wash the inside of the weld anyway, which I probably will just before I polish. So, not like I have to get this 100%. But it's always good to, you know, put the effort in and try to make it look good and try and do it right for when you do have to, you know, do this on a piece of pipe where you're not right at the end there and don't have easy access to. So I'm just kind of hanging out here, wandering along. Probably going to go to this tack and then I'll stop. Reset, just whip out like that. Keep your shielding gas on the end of it there. Now we'll go ahead, rotate here, peel back our tape there and go for a bit more. So right there, that's a good thing to learn. Just flick that on, that way you don't contaminate your tungsten. Just keep on, keeping on, going around the pipe here. Not in any big hurry. If you're used to welding carbon steel and then go to stainless, you'll just notice that it is much slower. So you can get away with using a lot less heat or a lot less amperage. You just have to go slow. So that's why if you see a lot of guys that just do sanitary stainless, they will just have a little Maxstar, you know, 150, 161, one of those machines, and just usually run it off 110 volts, because most of the time you're at 80 amps or less. It just takes a little bit to get the heat into your part. So you have to be patient. So we're coming up here close to where our tape is, so we'll just go ahead and pull that off, and I'm going to go ahead and run over to this next tack here. Whip out. Now ideally you would brush your starts and stops. I don't think I did on that last one just because I was here. I was going, but I think we will on this next one here. So I'm going to whip out. We'll go ahead and peel off the last of our tape. Go ahead, spin this around. Now I just have a little bit left here to go, and I have a stop there and a start there that need brushed. So this is where this little air drill is really handy. Like I said, you can, in fact, actually there's a lot of places where they will not allow you air tools or, well, any kind of power tool. Like if you were in a food production facility, for example, even using a wire brush like that, I'm a little hesitant to in any place that there's active production going on. Scotch-Brite is, or just leave it, is generally what I will do, because yeah, you don't want to use a wire brush and it flick a bristle off and go into a product, and then, you know, some customer or end user gets it and, you know, bites into something and you got a big piece of stainless in there, then it comes back on you. That is not a good thing to happen. I've seen that happen to someone else. I just don't need that kind of stress in my life. So we'll go ahead, flick that on, and just start finishing off this root pass here. Again, you know, I'm just kind of focusing on the side of the ferrule and just, you know, going along here. Just making a go at it. That is one thing that I do really like about stainless work like this, is you just do not get in a hurry. It takes as long as it takes. And, you know, that's just kind of what it is. Like, you can't really speed it up any, because, I mean, you can crank your heat up on this and roach the part, but it still won't turn out looking very good. So you just have to go at the pace it goes at. So this whole spool here will take me the better part of a day to get it done. And that is okay. So I could maybe do 2 of these a day if I really hustled, but probably this one will take most of today since I'm filming. Alright, now we are sealed up. And that's where having the hole in your purge caps comes in, because if you do not have an outgas spot like that and you come around and you make that last little bit there and it'll seal up and then boop, it'll bubble back up. I've done that more than once and it really sucks to go back and fix. I went out to the mailbox today and I looked at this box and I was like, what in the heck is this? So I opened it up here and I had totally forgotten that I had an interaction on Instagram with this company here. OUDO Panda. I don't know how you say that. I apologize to the company there. I probably should have looked up a pronunciation guide. They're on Instagram, but supposedly they have really neat fixed shade welding lenses, which is something that I have been in the market for looking through a pipe when you're trying to back weld your root pass. And so they were nice enough to send me some here, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at them and try them out here. So they have one here, it looks pretty slick. It's gold, kind of a bluish tint if you are looking at the lights up there. Comes in a nice carrying case, so if nothing else, we'll use the cases here. Take a look at this other one here. I believe I got the, or I believe they sent me the the like electric blue one, and then they had another one there that I do not remember what was. So this one didn't come with a fancy case, but it's packaged really nicely here. So this is the, oh, this must be the True View or True Color one. So we'll try doing some welding with these and see if I can hold them up here with the phone and see what it looks like. But once again, thank you all at Odoo Panda. Right there. Check them out. We'll give these guys a run through here and see how it works out. Okay, so I am trying something here that I have not done for a long time. A company reached out and sent me these Odoo Panda fixed shade non-auto darkening lenses, and I'm trying them out. So I may look like a complete idiot here because I haven't used a non-auto darkening lens in quite a while. So we'll try this out and see how this works out here. Whoa, that is really purple or blue. I have been using the True Color ones for quite a while now, and wow, that is very blue. Not in a bad way, but it is very blue in a very, very, very blue that I'm not used to. Now I could definitely get used to it. It's very contrasty, and it could be good. However, it is a bit of a shock to the system if you are not used to it. But the clarity is very, very good. So that's something. Okay. That was interesting. They sent me another one here that's like a true color one. I may go ahead and pop it in and see what happens with it. So that other one was very aggressively blue. Not necessarily a bad thing once you get used to it. If you're used to a true view lens, it was something else. I've got the true color one here, fixed shade from them, and we're gonna try it out. Whoa, and I'm gonna arc mark on the pipe here. So we'll go ahead, we'll try this out and see what I think of it. Oh wow, okay, that is very, very clear. Wow, I really like this one. Not that that other one was bad. If you like a blue lens, it was very blue, but the clarity from this is just phenomenal. I mean, it is like looking at it without a welding lens on. That is actually something else. I like this one, and I don't think these lenses were all that expensive. I think they were maybe like 50 bucks. I'll have to go look, but actually I really like this one. The dynamic range there is like the difference between the lights and the blacks is really good. Huh, that's I keep waiting there at the end for it to, you know, auto undarken, but I'm impressed. I'll have to give a link down below. I am trying a non-auto lens, walking the cup here for the first time in a long time. Now I'm going to cut this in, but this is Odoo Panda that I'm using, and I'll see if I can splice some footage in here. It is actually a pretty decent looking lens. It is very aggressively blue, kind of like akin to the old Philips lenses from, you know, way back before my time. But the more I'm using it here, the more I kind of like it. I've been going with the weld tube lenses. They're autos, and they're really a good lens. But I will say that the clarity of a non-auto lens versus an auto lens is just a night and day difference. I am really impressed with this, by the way. It's pretty cool. And so you got to get everything ready. Flick your thing on. Once you get them going, they're pretty clear. I like the, especially this is the one of the blue ones. I forget which one they sent me, but it has a very nice blue. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the old school Philips blue lens that you'd get. And like, I can definitely see this would be nice for stick welding outdoors. Although really, it's not bad for TIG welding indoors either. But you know, whoops. See right there, what I did is I get talking and thinking about what I'm gonna say, and I end up sliding the filler into the puddle there and kind of make a little bit of a ugly spot. So what I'm doing, I've got a little bit of I'm a little bit below flush prior to this. So this is just basically like your cap and your fill and cap all in one. I could probably bring it out flush with a piece of 16th and this is a piece of 332 filler. So probably look a little nicer if I did that, but then I'd have to make 2 passes. So we'll stick with this. Whip out there. Well, that is the weirdest thing, is just getting used to it not lightening after you whip out there. Not my best, not my worst. It's a Monday. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. Please check back to the channel for more welding content.